What is happening, guys? Call of Duty Black Ops Kid here, coming at you with another review. Today, we're going to be reviewing the Battletoads 2020 game from Xbox Studios. This is an Xbox One and a PC review, as I played it on PC and a little bit on Xbox, just to make sure there was no biased or weird things between the two ports. So, let's get into it. Battletoads 2020. Battletoads is an ongoing series that has been around, I think, since 1991. The last game being made in 1994 called Battletoads Arcade. And yeah, it's the series is set dormant for whatever reason. It was a beloved series, had 3 games in the series if you include the arcade. And it was pretty fun. I enjoyed playing it a lot when I was a kid. It was like one of the first games I ever really played that kind of get me into harder games, with kind of leading all this stuff to be even what happens when I play games today. You know, when it comes down to like Dark Souls, stuff like that. You know, some pretty decently hard games. And that's gotten me kind of how I play games now. If it's hard, I always at least want to try it, even if it's not good. So, Battletoads 2020, pretty solid beat-em-up game, and pretty much takes place right after the 26 years the series have laid dormant, them being in a simulation for the last 26 years. Then they're trying to find their power to glory, and that's pretty much how the game proceeds. We'll talk more about spoilers towards the end of the video, so if you do want to know all about this game, check out the end when we get there. I'll also give you a second to make your last decision if you want the spoiler to be spoiled to you or not. The game is full of 3 acts. The first act being a basic beat 'em up and story diversion, a little bit of a tutorial on gameplay and other stuff like that. Basically, playing on solo, you can play as all three of the frogs. Well, toads, I should say. There's Zit, Pimple, and Rash. Rash is kind of like the average, the combination of Pimple and Zit. Pimple being the tank build that moves slowly but hits harder, and Zit's being the fast one that doesn't hit as hard and has more combo focus. If you're trying to go for S ranks on combos, Zit's is definitely the one to go with. He has the best combo structure. So pressing X is your basic attack. Fully pressing X's unleashes a fully attack at the end of the cycle. So if you hit 5 times, then there's a bigger one at the end. Pressing Y will lift your enemies into the air or a strong attack, and holding B will charge attack. And pressing that in midair will also do different types of rarity and morphing attacks, which is kind of cool, kind of reminiscent of the original Battletoads game. Yeah, this game's pretty decently difficult. I wouldn't say it's like hard as hell. There was like a couple parts that got me stumped, mainly just some of the later missions with traversing and maybe some of the spaceship battles, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. After every fight, there's always something that can go on. It could be what they call a Rochambeau, or a rock, paper, scissors, and I never really understood how it worked, because there's like a toaster, there's a fish, and there's something else I can't even remember. But basically, it's just mini games to pass the time, just trying to break the cycle of just repetitive attacking. You know, boss battles are pretty good in this game too. They're not super hard, but at the same time, they're not like directly shown out there. Maybe you die once, and that's probably all you die. The final boss, for instance, for me, I only died like 3 times on. Mainly just learning the attack patterns and then, you know, exploiting that from a variety of things. The game does have 3 difficulties, like an easy, medium, and hard mode. Battletoads, just the enemies do not die on hard difficulty. They just sit there and just get beat up, and they just don't die, and you get hit once, you lose like half your health essentially, or I can't remember if it's half or full. I don't remember, it's been a minute. But once your character downs, you have a 22-second cooldown, or maybe it's 60-second depending on the difficulty. Like I said, it's been a minute, but you have a cooldown on your character. If you wait for that cooldown, the character you can choose comes back with half health. Yeah, that's pretty much the premise of like Act 1, to beat 'em up. Act 2 is kind of where things get away from all things Battletoads. They also have, like I said, like the scooters from the original Battletoads game, and it's just weird. how there's like space missions. I didn't expect this to happen. They're pretty good though. They're pretty difficultly challenging, and they add a different flair to the gameplay. Although it does drag on quite a bit on Chapter 2, because it goes between a simple puzzle platformer with no attacking to an intense spaceship battle. So that's where I would say that. And of course, like I said, there's some random like little mini games scattered between every mission of the act. So you don't just go from like space battle to platforming, space battle to platforming. There's sometimes some different variety of things, like Olympics or just random things that actually make the game pretty different and a little bit more fun and kind of break away from all this crazy stuff going on. Act 3 is pretty short. There's some pretty basically like terrain, like the moving around the freaking obstacles around your scooters and stuff. And there's like a 2D like rail running thing. It's pretty interesting in terms of like gameplay. It definitely breaks it up than just beat 'em ups. So that's one thing I will say. But I think Act 2 dragged on for too long, and there wasn't really any like actual beating up. That's one of the reasons you get a Battletoads game. So that's one of my biggest faults with the game, I would say. Yeah, Act 3 was pretty short. It's the shortest one. There's like I said, the 2 sections, and then the final boss, which we can talk about in a little bit in detail here right now. So if you guys don't want the spoilers, check the description. We'll have it linked after spoilers, and then you can click on that, and it'll be all over. So essentially, you're stuck in a bunker for 26 years in simulation. You find the Dark Queen, which was actually in the original Battletoads game. It was like the final boss. And then once you do that, she tells you about this utopian society that you can actually attack and be, it's the biggest galaxy in the world, so you'll be famous and all this other stuff. Go out there, they brainwash you, like basically trying to say you're a good boy or we're going to kill you, all this other stuff. The Dark Queen manages to help you guys, and you end up defeating the Utopians, which is pretty quirky comedy even in its own, to say some pretty dumb stuff. But yeah, like it's a pretty fun time even in that case. And the bass bottle, it's pretty easy attacking 2 enemies at the same time. They share the same health bar, so it's no Ornstein and Smog thing. So yeah, it's a pretty decent experience when it comes down to the final boss, and it's pretty rewarding, especially on the hardest difficulty. So yeah, that was all the Battletoads had to offer. Total out of a review score, I would give an 8 out of 10. I think that's a pretty fair score. Like I said, Act 2 kind of being dragged out and too much space missions and easy puzzle solvers. So that'd be my only gripe with the game. It is a very fun and very indicative masterpiece. And I hope, and I know for sure there will be another game involving somebody in the game. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys for watching this review. If you enjoyed, please like the video. If you want to see more reviews like this, we will be reviewing Wasteland 3 coming very soon. Very excited for that. So if you guys want to see live gameplay, we'll be streaming that game when it releases, as well as other things like that. So please subscribe. It helps out the channel a bunch. Liking the video as well also helps. And I love you guys. See you in the next one. Goodbye.